It was a moment no one saw coming. Behind the grand walls of the Vatican, in a private room where only the most senior cardinals were allowed, something was said that would leave one man visibly shaken: Luis Antonio Tagle. As whispers turned into official words, Tagle couldn't hold back his tears. Why? Because what the cardinals announced wasn't just news, it was Pope Francis's last wish. A wish that wasn't meant to stay within those walls. It was a message, loud and clear, meant for the world. But why now? Why did this deeply personal request come at this exact moment? Pope Francis had been battling health issues, and at 88 many expected retirement talks. Yet no one expected this emotional bombshell. Witnesses said Tagle's face told a story of honor, fear, and overwhelming responsibility. Many have long believed that Tagle was more than just a trusted cardinal. He was the man Pope Francis saw as the future. And now, with this final wish revealed, the weight of that future came crashing down. As one insider reportedly whispered, it wasn't just a wish. It was a legacy passed on. And so, as Tagle wiped away his tears, the world outside began to ask, what exactly did Pope Francis request? What could move a man like Tagle, known for his calm and strength, to such raw emotion? The answer lies not just in the words spoken that day, but in the life of the man who spoke them, Pope Francis himself. And that's where our story leads next. Who really is the man behind this historic wish? The man behind the mission. Before he became the leader of 1.3 billion Catholics, he was just Jorge Mario Bergoglio, a boy from Buenos Aires with humble beginnings and a heart for the people. When he became Pope Francis in 2013, he didn't just take a new name, he introduced a new way of leading. The first Jesuit Pope. The first from the Americas. And perhaps the first in a long time to truly live like the people he served. From day one, Pope Francis rejected luxury. No golden thrones, no lavish palaces. He chose simplicity, walking among the poor, speaking in words everyone could understand. His mission was clear. I want a church that is poor and for the poor. But now, at 88, with his health in question, many wonder, did he feel his mission was unfinished? Was this last wish his way of ensuring that his vision would live on, even after he stepped away? Because Pope Francis wasn't just thinking about today. He was thinking about tomorrow, and about who would carry forward his dream of a compassionate, inclusive church. And that brings us back to the importance of this wish, a wish that was more than just a farewell. But what does a pope's last wish really mean? Let's find out. More than just words. In most cases, when a pope leaves a message behind, it's in the form of official teachings, doctrines, or letters. But Pope Francis was never like most popes. His final wish wasn't filled with rules or complex theology. It was something far deeper, a call for unity, compassion, and hope. A human message, not just a religious one. Some say he hinted at succession, without naming names. Others believe he simply asked the Church to stay true to his vision of kindness over judgment. As one Vatican source put it, Francis didn't just want to be remembered for what he changed, but for who would continue changing things. This wasn't about power, it was about purpose. And that's why his last wish could redefine the Church for generations. Because it wasn't locked in tradition, it was open to transformation. But if there was anyone who could truly understand the heart behind this message, it was the man who stood crying as it was announced, Luis Antonio Tagle. So who is this man Pope Francis trusted so deeply? Let's take a closer look. The protege who carried the vision. Luis Antonio Tagle's story is one of humility, service, and quiet strength. Born in Manila, far from the power centers of Rome, no one could have predicted that this soft-spoken cardinal would one day be whispered as the future of the Catholic Church. But Pope Francis saw something special in him. Nicknamed the Asian Francis, Tagle mirrored everything the Pope stood for: humility, compassion, and a deep connection to ordinary people. Whether comforting refugees or speaking out for the poor, Tagle lived the mission Francis preached. It wasn't just coincidence that Pope Francis placed him in key roles, trusted him with delicate tasks, and kept him close in times of major decisions. Many believe that when Pope Francis made his final wish, it was Tagle he had in mind as the one to guide the Church into a new era. As one cardinal once said, Tagle doesn't just follow Francis's vision, he embodies it. But stepping into that role wouldn't be easy, because the Church is standing at a critical point, caught between the weight of tradition and the winds of change. And that's exactly where we head next. Tradition meets transformation. Right now, the Catholic Church stands at a critical crossroads, a moment of decision that could define its future for decades, even centuries. On one side of this divide lies tradition, centuries of rules, rituals, and authority that have shaped the Church into what it is today. On the other side is a rapidly changing world, calling not for abandonment of faith, but for a faith that evolves, that listens, includes, and adapts. Pope Francis's last wish didn't just acknowledge this divide, it challenged it directly. He knew the Church could no longer ignore the voices of those left on the margins. His message wasn't only about who would come next, it was about what kind of church would exist for the next generation. This is where Luis Antonio Tagle enters the story in a profound way. Tagle is uniquely positioned between these two worlds. He is a man who has earned the respect of traditionalists for his deep theological grounding and loyalty to church doctrine. Yet, he's also captured the hearts of progressives for his empathy, his compassion, and his clear desire to make the Church a home for everyone, not just the few.
My name is Felix Mula. I'm a product manager and pre-sales engineer and head of pre-sales for Data Group IT Kenya. And I started cybersecurity, my career in cybersecurity 12 years ago. I've been across different domains. I've done a lot of networks, I've done a lot of databases, and eventually moved over to security. I've been passionate about IT generally, about cybersecurity since high school. This is something that I've always wanted to do. And as part of one of the companies that I work for, we actually got hacked a couple of times, and this meant that we had to redo the entire server farm from scratch. And I wanted to be on the other side of things, so like an actual ethical hacker, but from the grey side, grey hat hacker. So we have a huge digital transformation that has changed post-COVID. The attack surface has also widened, as we knew it previously. We knew of a perimeter where everything used to be in a specific building, for example, where we have firewalls, antivirus, tools sitting on a device, for example. But with the new remote working, with people working across different domains, trying to access different things on the cloud, and the advent of new devices like IoT devices, that is the Internet of Things, then the landscape has quite widened, and we need skills and tools to actually protect the environment. A career in cybersecurity is very lucrative, that much I can say. So it's very demanding, very challenging, because there are new threats every day. We have to mitigate against this. There are new risks that come up every day. We have to do a lot of audits, a lot of vulnerability assessments, And on the flip side, what we get out of it, the satisfaction itself, and of course the money that comes with it is really, really good. So whether it's a remote job that we're working for an overseas company or it's a local job, there are not enough engineers to actually cover them. So it's really, really good.
He doesn't scream change. He embodies it quietly.